What's going on out there, good people? It is your boy Look Around with LMD Trading coming at you today with a Green Day review for January 13th, 2022. Today's trading session was a little different. Market was kind of choppy, market was kind of slow. So as you'll see when we go to reviewing these trades, we were actually doing a lot of scalping, if you could believe that, scalping while trading options. We were doing quite a bit of scalping. Trades weren't going to full target, so we were having to get out of those and just make what we could off of it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Trader View. We'll take a look at how the day went, and then we'll pull up Thinkorswim and look at the actual trades on the charts. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we will go ahead and go to the dashboard and take a look for Thursday the 13th. We did take 12 trades, had a total volume of 30, and we had a closed P&L of $241. $116 of this P&L was from a trade that we had taken the previous day. So that did go to help our P&L, but still a good day overall. If you look at the numbers, you'll see what I was talking about in the intro. It was quite a bit of scalping going on. We only had one trade that actually went target, and we actually did get a little bit more out of the trade. But overall, it was quite a bit of scalping because the market just wasn't really moving like it should have been. Couple of flat trades that once we saw that it was rolling, we kind of moved our stops up, and then one totally flat trade. But we'll go ahead and get Thinkorswim pulled up, and we'll kind of dive into these trades independently and take a look at them. So let's go ahead and get Thinkorswim pulled up, and we will look at the first trade, which was SOXL. And if you look up here, you will see these were our ideas that we had on the watch list. We had Boeing. Coin was on there just because we was watching it off the open. Had HD, Nvda. Always have the QQQs and the SPY on there. SOXL, which was first one we took for the day, and TCM. And if you look at the change on the day, the only one that was, or actually we had two that were green on the day, just TCM and Boeing. Rest of the market was red. So we'll go ahead, get SOXL pulled up. First trade of the day was at 938. And let me remove the arrows off of there, so we're starting with a clean chart. 938, so we would have been getting in this one here, and as always we're going to go over to the 2-minute, and I'm going to just go ahead and blow this up right now. So this one here, 938, so it would have been on this candle. Not a real clean pattern to be getting in that one on. It was breaking the VWAP, but it hadn't really established a pattern yet. So it came up, kind of just retested the VWAP and just made this little move here. And let's see, we got out of that one at 943. So So we would have been getting out on that candle, and did get out of it a little early. It did pull back and kind of make a move, but definitely would not have hit target, and we ended up just getting out of that trade for pretty much a flat trade. We got out made $5 on it, so not a red trade, but still not really a green trade either. So that was the first trade of the day. Second trade that we got in was TCM. We'll get TCM pulled up. I'll go ahead and clear candles off, and I will go ahead and drop this level that was shown. This was a level that was put on there from the daily as well as the hourly, showing just as an area of resistance. So we got in that one at 939. So would have been getting in on that candle right there. And again, this was a call play, so fairly extended. Definitely wouldn't have wanted to get in on this move with these topping tails because that's all resistance. So getting in right there was not really a good play. Let's see where we got out of that one at 958. So we would have been getting out on that candle just as it was rolling over. So again, after extended moves, you kind of want to see it pull back to about half of the move. If you look here, that pull back to just about half of that move. Again, topping tails, so still not really wanting to get into this trade with those topping tails. And just because I'm gonna go ahead, just take a look at this on the minute chart and see if it was anything that would have maybe gave the impression, but nope, don't even see anything on the 1 minute chart that would have really made me want to get in this trade. So like I said, extended, you wanted to pull back, it did that, but you really wouldn't have wanted to get into it with this top and tail because that's still looking at resistance. So this did pull back, came up, and kind of started teetering, and we ended up getting out, made $19 on the trade. So didn't even get a full R out of the trade. And then we do see that it pulled back to the VWAP and just rolled over. So small gain, but again, not a trade that we really should have been in the first place. So next trade, we went right back to SOXL. So SOXL, and we got in this trade at 951. So we would have been getting in this trade right here. Again, this was another call play. As I stated on this other one, we had these top and tails here. So definitely not really something that you want to be dealing with because that's still selling pressure. But we got in as it broke this area, thinking that it might still run and kind of take off. We got out, or actually we didn't get out. We bought one contract and then we came back and bought two more contracts at 954. So let's take a look at that. So 954, we would have been getting in on right here. And here, again, getting in here, you're going to run into this resistance. And we got two contracts as it bounced off of the VWAP. And we sold those contracts at 958. So let's see. So we sold those on this contract as it made this little move and then just rolled over. So we got out of this trade making $14. So like I said, pretty much was just scalping, just kind of getting in and taking what we could get out of it. Just kind of playing the little tiny moves that they were making, but overall, not really a good trade, even though we did make a little bit of money off of it. So that was SOXL. Next trade that we took was Boeing. So let's take a look at Boeing. Go ahead. This one here, I'm gonna just remove the arrows so that we can keep the price action lines on the chart. Remove drawing. Remove and remove. All right, so this particular trade we got in at 9.54 and it was a call play. So we would have been getting in on that candle right there. So if we look at the 2-minute, we see it opened, pulled back, came up, pulled back at the VWAP, and it broke this area of resistance that we had marked on the chart, and we got in as it broke the high of this little nice flat top right there. So got in with 2 contracts, and we got out of the first contract at 10:01. So that would have been right there. And then the next one we got out at 10:03, pretty much at the top of the move. So pretty much got out capturing some profit on that move, and then stayed in one contract until it came up and tested this area of resistance. Again, like I say, with options, it's easier to play the option, get your profit out of it, and if it rolls over, just get back in on the next move. So that's what we did there, and that was a good trade. Made $78 off of that trade. So good trade overall there. Pretty much good entry. Had a good entry, played it nicely up to that area of resistance, and ended up getting out of it nicely. So next trade that we took was HD, Home Depot. Home Depot, it looked pretty good on the pre-market chart. I'm not sure just why it turned out the way it did once the market opened. But the first one that we got in was at 10:20. Let's take a look and see where that is. We got it right there. So it opened, pulled back pretty good, came back up, got through this resistance and the VWAP up to this area that we had on the chart for resistance. And this is one thing I do like about the stock market is you hear about technical analysis and fundamentals. When you start looking at charts and start putting these price action lines on there, it's like patterns. They kind of hold fast to it. Sometimes they'll kind of get away from it, but most of the time it's going to pull right back to an area that it pulled back to in the past. So this one came up, pulled back, came up, came back down. So it wasn't really in any particular kind of trend, but came back up, pulled back on a nice bottoming tail right at the VWAP. Here would have been a good spot to get in, but it came up, set another bottoming tail, and we got in right here, and we got out at 10:26, just as it was testing this area of resistance and kind of pulling back. So that one there, another scalp, only made $15 off of it. But again, our goal is to try to make $100 a day. So any little bit helps, but it's nicer when you can make a nice trade and get your 2R out of it and get half of your daily goal in the book. But that one there, like I said, another scalp. Trading options and scalping them. So came right back, played HD again. Another call. This one we got in at 10:32, which would have been right here on this candle. No real reason that I can see to get in this trade at all. Let me look at it on the 5-minute. On the 5-minute, I can see maybe trying to play it going up, but you got a top and tail on this candle. You're coming right into resistance. So definitely not a reason to get into that trade, but we did get in it. We had our stop set just under this candle right here. And as you can see, trade rolled over and we got out in this candle. And that one we took a $14 loss. So once we saw that it was rolling, it was breaking this area that we had already established as a stop loss, we ended up getting out right there. So let's take a look at the next trade. All right, the next trade that we took was TCM. Got back into TCM, and this was a put play. So we were playing this one to go down. First trade that we took right here, we played it to go up. Just kind of scalping it. But the market kind of flushed pretty good. And it took pretty much most of the large caps with it when it flushed. So this one here, we got in at 10:36. So let's see where we're getting in on this one. 10:36 would have been that candle right there. So if we look here, and I'm going to go ahead and just mark where we got out right now as well. We got out at 10:42. So it would have been on this candle. So this one here, as we can see, pulled up, kind of round topped over, kind of rolled over, pulled back, tested the VWAP and broke down. And then we got in on this little breakdown right here. Could have rolled this all the way down because we did leave quite a bit of money on the table and we didn't really get our full target out of it. So, but the reason that we were kind of worried here was because if you look, and I'm going to drop a line right there at that candle there, we were looking at that kind of as resistance. And when we saw it come down and pull back up, kind of got a little worried and got out of the trade. A little premature. We still made $40 on the trade. But if you look at this move and where it came down, we easily would have hit our target. But we did get out of that trade a little earlier than we probably should have. But the way that this market is right now, it's almost like get what you can. Can't really be too greedy. Definitely not like it was middle of last year and going into the end of last year. But again, green trade. So just added a little more to our daily gains. Next trade that we took, though, took some of that money back. And that one was on TCM again. So this one we got in at 10:53. So let's see. We would have been getting in on that candle right there. Another put play. This was another put play. Don't see a real reason again, other than we were playing it to break. and this was one of those I always talk about. Anticipation can cost you. Playing this one to break. We got in on this candle, and as you can see, it kind of went down, and then the buyers kind of pushed it back up. We ended up getting out of this at 10.57. So we got out of this one on that candle right there. And that was a full stop out. Stopped us out for $25. So again, good having the stop in place. Had that stop not in place, been in place. Let's see. So that was, and actually on here, it doesn't tell me the delta. Let me see if I go up top and see what the delta was on that. 53. So that's 140. That made about a $2 move. It's about $100 if you don't have your stop in place that you're gonna lose on this trade. If you would have let that ride all the way back up. So that's the importance of having stops in place. Because they can cost you. You take a bad trade, that was a bad trade, but if your stop is in place, you're going to minimize the damage and look for your next trade to get you back green again. So next trade that we took was Nvda, and pretty much after this trade is when I should have been wrapping it up and calling it a day. Just thinking back on how the market was looking, wasn't anything really too good to get in. This trade here, Nvda, this was one that I kind of expected a little bit more out of, though. And we'll kind of talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and clear all of the drawings off on this one, though. I can kind of just come back and put some lines on there, knowing where areas of support and resistance would have been at. So we'll just throw those lines on the chart as support and resistance. And let's see, we got in at 10.59. So we would have been getting in on that candle right there. And we got out of this one at 11.15. So we would have been getting out on that candle. So this trade right here, we took, looking at the SPY. The SPY, it kind of came down double bottom just like Nvda did. So was somewhat thinking that we had bottomed out for the day, and this was kind of a little small double bottom. So we ended up getting in. What are we doing? What are you doing? Look around. What are you doing? So we got in as it was breaking this area of this little double bottom. Still didn't really have a reason to believe that it was going higher because it hadn't really set a higher high and a higher low. But the thought was we were going to get in. The market was moving up, and we're just trying to get in this one, ride it back up to, thinking just get it back up to the VWAP. But as you can see, kind of rolled over, had this top and tail right here, big red candle. And so we just got out of that trade for a just about flat. We got out, made $5 off of it. But we do see that it did come back and test this area. So had we just stayed in the trade, we had our stop just below this area. So had it pulled back to there, it would have stopped us out full. But we do see that it did make that move. And let's see, which one was this? This was the 290. 290. So that was a delta of 15. So basically for every dollar you were going to make 30 on that one. So where we stopped out at was 270. It made a move up to 273. So on 15 by 3. That just about would have hit target. We made 45 bucks off of it, give or take a few dollars. So had we left our stop alone, this one would have just about hit target. Didn't quite get up to where we wanted it to, up there testing the VWAP, but we still would have possibly made target or got close to making target. So flat trade, few dollars in the bank. Next trade that we took was BA. This was a call play on BA. Let's see. We got in this one at 11.13. So we would have been getting in on this candle right there. Come over here, look at the 2 minute, it's right there. If we go up, look at the 5 minute, it's right there. This one here, we were playing it to kind of break this area of resistance. Again, market, it seemed to be kind of getting back strong again. But as I always say, you kind of want to see it come up, test it, and then go again. But we got in right there. And let's see, we were out of this trade at 11.35. So let's go to 11.35 and see where we stopped out at. And we stopped out right there. Again, if you look at this, because this one here, we took a loss of $11, so about half an R. Had we kept our stop where it would have been at, which was going to be right here under, just under that area of resistance, we probably would not have stopped out. And let's look at Boeing real quick. That was the 230 call. So 30 cents. So basically for every dollar, you'll make $30. So if we look where we got in at, it was at 225. Pretty much went up to almost 237. So good chance that we would have gotten close to hitting our target. Would have got close to it because that was about a $2 move on a 30-cent delta. So give or take 60 bucks. Would have came close or hit target. Probably on this candle right here. Let's see what that is. That's a high of 226. Let's look at this candle right here. Yeah, about 40 bucks, 45 bucks that we probably would have made off of that trade, as opposed to moving our stop up and just taking a half a hit on that trade. So that's the thing. We see if we would have left, if on two trades, had we left our stop alone, we possibly would have hit target or made a little bit more money on it. So what is that ICE at? Going to the option list. And then this was our last trade of the day, which was Nvda. This was another call play, getting into Nvda at 11.24. So we would have been getting into that trade on this candle right here. And let's see, we would have been getting out at 11.44. So we'll drop that candle. 11.44, we were just getting out right there. So this one here, again, it's kind of double bottom. Came back, retested, came back, retested. So buyers are stepping in every time it's retesting right here. Came up, pulled back. We got in right here again. Expecting this to make that move. But if you look, you see it came and tested this area of resistance, and the buyers just didn't have the strength in it to push it. So this one ended up coming up, testing, and rolling back over. And that trade there, we ended up getting out flat. We got out pretty much exactly at a closed P&L of 0-0. So with the little small fees that you do pay in TD Ameritrade, this trade actually cost us maybe a couple of dollars. But those were our trades for the day. Finished up green. Finished up making, what's that? About 120, about 125 when you take off the 116 that was from the carryover. So still not a bad day. We made our target and added money to the account. If you look here for our performance for the month of January, green days, which they're showing them in blue for whatever reason, but those were our greens. And then, like I say, we did have our first red day of the year. So we'll be ready to jump right back in the market again tomorrow. I'll be trading again remotely, won't be trading from my home office. So we'll look to take some good trades, look to take smart trades, try to get into them where we should be, try not to chase. If we get left behind, go ahead, look for a pullback, or keep the scan going, see if we can't find another stock that's on our watch list that's moving, because there's thousands of stocks out there. It's always a stock that's going to be moving in the direction that we need it to move in. We just need to find it. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out while I review my trades. If you haven't already, definitely would appreciate a like. If you haven't already subscribed, would appreciate a new sub. Again, if you didn't like it, by all means, go ahead and drop that thumbs down. But please leave some constructive criticism on what I can do to improve it for the next time. But until we meet again, I'm going to say what I always say. Peace.